Cool. So this is a little bit of a little midway segment. But this was a conversation we had in our group chat over the weekend, and I felt it was a great conversation to really put on camera because it gets wild. But I agree with your point of this particular artist not maybe being recognized in the light that they should. Okay. I do agree with that, but I want you to get a full scope of what the conversation.
I posed the question to the group chat that the question was Janet Jackson or Beyonce, and in the context of artistry.
Right.
We've been trying to plan like verses and shit, but in my head, I had sat and thought, I'm like, damn, like Janet is one of them artists that's kind of like motherfuckers know about her, but I don't think motherfuckers really know about her.
You think it's a know and not respect kind of thing?
I really truly believe it. It's
or vice versa. You think they respect the name, but they don't really know the impact.
Okay, I think
is that
damn.
Yeah, I think that's what it is for real.
When you look at it like that, it's kind of like it's both spectrums because it's like the people that know what the fuck she's done, and then there's people like in our time that's like we respect Janet Jackson because of her name, but I don't think we truly know what.
For people that us, we both have obviously like went back,
exactly
done research, but everybody has it. So I get you.
Like the artists I just named, Beyonce and Janet, they're generational artists. I mean, like for their time, like they can't be top at all. And that was this thing that Steve had posed.
So what did you say? Because you the way you posed the question was not what you meant.
So how I posed, I fumbled my words. I'm gonna say that. How I posed the question was basically like I made it seem like Janet laid the foundation for Beyonce, which wasn't that. What I was truly saying is if you have this person like Janet and Beyonce pulled from her playbook, can she not be considered a great woman of what she's done for R&B in the multiple genres that she fucking stepped her foot into? And it's like, damn, where do we give Janet her credit to be in the conversation of the Whitney Houstons and the Beyonces, and why don't we give her that credit?
See, this is where you lost me. This is where you lost me. Because my original response was that it was a reach that she laid groundwork.
And I understand.
And understand. That's all I was saying. To say that she laid groundwork is a reach, but I feel what you are getting at. Then on top of that, you also alluded to the fact of so basically you said the reason Janet was not as big or couldn't have the impact was because of Mike. But what are they supposed to do about that? So Janet couldn't do nothing about Mike being Mike.
But this is what I say about it. It's like if anything and everything that your brother do is bringing national news, of course motherfuckers are gonna be worried about you a little bit. But as far as like, bro, you got Michael Jackson was the nigga. Anything he fucking
Michael Jackson was Michael Jackson.
He sneezed. That's in headline fucking news. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like okay, Janet Michael.
But they not expecting Janet to bring the tissues.
But this is
very true.
This is the thing, like. Janet was in headline news, but Michael...
That was petty. I shouldn't have said that.
Michael and Janet. Let's be truthful. Are you really gonna say?
But why we bring a Mike? What effect does Mike really have?
That really is a real argument. Like if you try to take away everything, like there are some people that's gonna say that she's lived under the shadow of who her brother was.
I completely disagree with that, and this is why.
Shadow's tough.
I think Shadow is definitely tough. That's an aggressive.
Strong. Shadow is strong. Janet was Janet, my nigga.
No shade to Brandy.
Niggas saying Janet is Janet now, but saying she wasn't in the same conversation with Whitney.
She's not.
But get the fuck out of here. Y'all are talking about artistry, and I get that, but I think the reason why people don't want to put Janet with the Beyonces, the Whitney Houstons, and things like that is for voice. She is not a top vocalist.
That's all I said.
She is an artist.
That's all I said.
I would rock with your argument if we was talking about Brandy and Ray J. Ray J, respectively. Ray J does not exist without Brandy nor Luther. But there is a Janet Jackson separate from Michael Jackson.
Hey, that's so petty. That's so petty. But you're not lying.
But listen, but in the sense of a performer and artist,
Ray J gonna be on the Super Bowl? No. Absolutely not.
Jesus but in the sense of an artistry and performance of
Ray J gonna be on
what she's done as a woman, performer, and like Janet brings full scale fucking production.
She does. was.
You're not getting no bullshit from Janet.
Not at all.
So why isn't she in that conversation to be up there? Why can't she be the third name up there with Whitney and fucking Beyonce?
This is what I'm saying. When I made the argument, I said nobody's gonna take any. If you know Janet, if you've done your research, one, you know that she separated herself from Michael. She did that.
Yeah, she did.
Two, you would know that Janet, in terms of, she was the female version of Mike in terms of performing in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, she was. They siblings. Goddamn it! What you expect?
But when you say Janet Jackson, and this is how I know she gets her due credit. When you say Janet Jackson, people don't say who. You say, oh, Michael's sister. You say Janet Jackson.
She ain't Michael's sister. But to your argument,
who is Ray J? Brandy. Bro.
Not even that. He compared the family he compared it to was Beyonce and Solange, and so he tried to make it seem like they was comparable. I said those situations aren't necessarily comparable. I said don't use Beyonce and Solange. There's a way larger gap in between them two.
It's a larger gap because of legacy. Yes, I would say that. And this is the reason why I use that family. Everybody know who Beyonce is. Everybody know who Mike is. Everybody know who the fuck Janet is after she separated herself. And so I'm gonna say this: Solange has hit that point in her career to where she's separating herself from being Beyonce's little sister. When she dropped a seat at the table, motherfuckers was like, that was a separation. That was a separation. But then when she followed up with it, and it wasn't like a seat at the table, motherfuckers just like, of course, this is still just Solange, but we're gonna turn our focus back to here. We're gonna turn our focus back to Beyonce. But the focus
never left Beyonce.
When the seat at the table dropped,
the focus never left Beyonce. Let's not do that. Let's not.
Let's
not do that.
I'm not saying. I would say this. Solange had a moment of time where she was at the headline of the music world.
Shit. Oh, the music world. The music world.
Was the seat at the table not like that?
The music world.
Was the seat at
the
the table?
album was like that. Don't get me wrong. But to be on top of the music world,
I'm not saying like this motherfucker was number one.
I mean, you said the top of the music world.
She's in the conversation with some of the elites of music. Did the seat at the table?
Who said that?
Did the seat at the table not put her in the conversation with some of the elite motherfuckers in music?
I don't know about elite.
Elite? You elite?
I don't know about elite.
You gotta come on, psychology major. What the fuck? Watch your words, brother. What the fuck? Come on.
That's an English major.
Becoming elite, I think.
Did it show her potential? Yes.
Did she establish herself as elite? No.
So let me ask this: with the album that she just recently put out last year,
right?
Was that a miss of her collapsing onto the elite status that she at the table possibly gave her?
I feel like Solange is one of them artists you look at in the specific realm. I don't think you necessarily consider her general.
Solange is an artist that I take album by album. I don't.
You take album, you can't. I don't think you can really be general with Solange.
Okay.
And that's not a negative thing, but like Solange is like Phelan said, it's album to album. So like a seat at the table was a seat at the table. This past album, I don't know why the name is blanking me at this moment. When I get home, so. It was that album, like, and I didn't think the album was bad. It's not a seat at the table, obviously, but it wasn't a bad album whatsoever. So I think it's album by album. I think a lot of artists truly are album by album artists, and you really can't make that conversation to the end.
She also has a slightly different lane, so musically, artistry, sonically, is not meant to compete with her sister.
Yeah, true.
So now you see Solange as Solange and not Beyonce's little sister on the Proud Family track. You feel me? Like it's
great track.
Right?
Okay,
amazing.
Phelan, what I posed to you when we was talking last night, when you said it was interesting, give me your points of why you thought that was interesting.
Well,
Come to the mic.
Now that it's clarified, did Beyonce take notes from Janet? Notes. Sure, absolutely, 100%. Because, like, let's be honest. Janet was the first one freaking niggas on stage, strapped up to things, and I said, okay, well, take me, please.
I watched those videos.
Partition.
Right, then came partition.
I watched those
because
videos.
driver roll up that partition, please. But to that point, is Beyonce, like, can you give Janet the credit for the career that Beyonce has?
No,
like,
and I'm not saying
that. And that was my big thing yesterday.
That's how it was.
When you said
a nigga like him go down the street. You gotta talk to me. Nigga like him go
when you said
no. Nigga gonna misconstrue the Yeah, this nigga Jesse said.
No.
This nigga Jesse said. Janet laid the groundwork.
Wait,
fucking
Jesse,
Beyonce
no,
later
sorry.
and
No,
shit
wait,
like
sorry.
that.
I have to say this. This is funny as
okay,
hell.
that's-
Do you know Patricia thought we was like seriously mad at each other?
Really?
She didn't, but she ain't seen us do this before. So she's like, she asked Donald. She was like, "Are they serious?"
No.
Hold on, let me throw
No.
something out there that Donald brought up.
What?
Somebody you can give credit for because of Janet's career, Sierra.
That's what I said. That's what I said. I was telling Patricia that earlier. I literally said Sierra is Sierra. That's look. That's a blueprint. That's groundwork for your ass.
That's how I feel about she.
Archetype.
Look. I give you that. Now Sierra, that's groundwork for your ass.
See ya, boy.
No, for sure. Look, that's groundwork for your ass.
Groundwork
But
for sure.
my thing was, like I said, it's the artist. When you say B, that's why I'm like, B is in a different stratosphere.
But you just,
I get what you're saying though. When you talk about like performance, when you talk about what she did in terms of legacy, being one of the first women to have that type of
She could have
impact.
easily been like, okay, I make these good songs that are hits.
She could easily come to the background. She easily could.
In my videos, I do this small
Yeah.
choreography, but then it comes the aspect of putting on a show,
Yeah.
a production.
I give you that,
You
for
know
sure.
the Jacksons was putting on a fucking production, so it's just like I'm a pull from this. Like I said, I fumble my words. You know what I'm
It's all
saying?
good. It's all good.
Nigga, players fuck up. You know what I'm saying?
You still get drafted.
You still got that. You still in the league, my nigga. First round, my nigga.
But it's still one of them senses. It's like, all right, we gotta, not so much gotta, but like Janet is that motherfucker.
You
like,
want respect to be put on her name, and that's real.
See,
That's real.
I feel like
I don't think enough.
Janet should be in that conversation of
But here-
of the.
It depends on the conversation. So are you saying in terms of just overall impact, legacy, place in the history of music,
Yes.
that she should be up there? Yes. But what I was saying was they're just, even with that, there are still different tiers. So when you say Whitney, because your statement was,
And
your statement was Whitney was the only person touching Janet
in the 80s.
But what my statement was, my response was, you gotta flip that. It ain't about who was touching Janet. Nobody was touching Whitney at all. That's what I'm saying. You gotta flip that statement. For me, that's what I'm saying. Whitney in the class of her own. Then I said B, potentially at the end of her career, when you talking about overall legacy, impact, everything they've done and touched within music, I said may just be on a different level. That takes nothing away from what Janet's done. Like you still can say
True.
Janet deserves that respect.
Me and
because of A, B, and C.
Maury talked about this morning.
Yeah.
Like when you take in consideration all the aspects of all three of these women we just named, as far as every avenue of what they tried to jump in, only two has really succeeded at those. Whitney and Janet, as far as like, and this is what I want to say for you motherfuckers, you Beehive motherfuckers is watching this.
That's
shit.
the Beehive motherfuckers.
Don't get-
No. But I will say this: we don't fuck with the Beehive, though. I will say that. All BS aside,
Y'all get
the
crazy.
Beehive be tripping.
Y'all get crazy.
We respect B too, but the Beehive be tripping.
Y'all get
That's all I'm
crazy.
saying.
But this is what I'm gonna say.
Her who?
Niggas crazy.
As far as
Y'all are crazy.
when you take away in the aspect of entertaining, you gotta account for acting and Beyonce's acting career.
That ain't fair, man. Don't do
Has
that.
not been of what
Don't
Janet
do-
Jackson or Whitney Houston's has been. It has not been, and that is true.
So are you saying that Janet Jackson is a better actor than Beyonce is? Actress than Beyonce is?
Yeah, nigga.
I agree. I just
You
want.
didn't see her crying in that wet ass wig?
It was horrible. It was actually horrible.
Oh,
Wait. So are they the same level actress? Are they the same level actress?
No.
So who's better?
Who's
better?
Who's better?
Janet Jackson.
Shit.
You weren't Beyonce with an iron and see if she really acted. Absolutely not. Janet is untouchable with that.
No. Now, if you give Beyonce some cheating scenes, that bitch will act. Because let's be real.
The line alone that ruined her acting career, you touched my son. Don't you give a shit about that.
I need that money.
That's a Tyler Perry production. Come on.
No, but listen. Wait, that's actually messed up because Janet's the better actor. Don't get me wrong. What I want to say though, so do we at least like Beyonce in the Fighting Temptations? Do we not like that?
Of course, we count.
Okay,
We count Cadillac.
We Cadillac Records
and
Fighting
Fighting
Temptations. That's it. Look, Dreamgirls. Let's not cap. Dreamgirls.
You gotta put in Dreamgirls.
So basically Beyonce only do music. She only do music movies. That's what she needs to do.
I know Dreamgirls because she wasn't acting. She was.
Beyonce only do music movies. That's it. Okay, that's it.
Sorry.
We gonna get off
Well,
that.
hip hopper was.
Carmen.
Cause that Lion King shit, he could have kept that shit.
No disrespect, but it's Lion King, bro. We can't talk about Lion.
Them voiceovers was terrible,
Bro, that's a whole nother conversation about where they should have did live action in general. That's neither here nor
I mean, Childish did what he had to do though.
So you saying Beyonce just sucked?
To get y'all back on track, in terms of being responsible for careers in the sense of a blueprint, Tina D. Turner is the blueprint.
You said it. You didn't bring up Tina.
Said that publicly and performed.
I did bring up Tina.
You didn't bring up Tina.
Replicated sets of her.
You did bring up Tina.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But Tina is blueprint for everybody.
Yes.
You know, so that's different.
Yes.
But no, Tina for sure. I mean, you can name plenty of people. You named a couple that before, like in their time, before Janet's time, was that and set the blueprint for real. But in the midst of that specific conversation, that's all I was saying. Like that conversation or that question in terms of artistry, like I said, is extremely tough because there's so much to consider, and there is a lot that you could say pulled. You say pulled from Janet, but I still think B pulled from Mike because Janet subsequently pulled from Mike, if we being completely honest. So it's still all there, and I'll give you that. But my biggest thing was groundwork, and then the other biggest thing was in relation to them being in the same tier. They still there. They are there. Don't get me wrong. But if we talking vocal ability, Whitney's untouchable. I feel like that's not an argument. When we talking about career and impact, I mean Whitney too. When we talk about career, impact, you could say longevity. I mean Janet's not taken out of that because of that. But all them things considered, I still think, and it's not like Janet is a second fiddle or don't have her own lane. But if that's the conversation we having, she's third in that regard, and it's not a knock at all to Janet. It's just more so a thing of like, if we making that the conversation, then that's where she falls. And Janet's still Janet. Like we all said, Janet gonna get that respect or should get that respect, and Janet should be seen in a certain regard because Janet motherfucking Jackson. Janet motherfucking Jackson. But I'm saying, but when you throw names out there like Whitney Houston. That's what I'm saying.
The voice.
That's all I'm saying. When you do that, you know.
The voice. She's the voice.
I mean, you gotta say, Whitney got the greatest fucking Star Spangled Banner of all time. Like, she got the greatest.
Whitney Houston is also the personification of crossover. Like, she was one of the first, if not the first, successful crossover as black pop.
Have y'all ever watched her documentary?
Oh, multiple times. Me and Patricia watched that faithfully.
Oh my God.
We watched that faithfully.
It just breaks down
everything
of what you just explained. Like, literally
it's honestly, it's a great 2 hours. Like it's a great 2 hours.
If you haven't watched it, please.
No, please do. Like you say, it opened like it tells the entire story. And I think for a lot of people, because I mean, bro, I watched it on a whim for the first time in 2018, and when I tell you, boy, a little bit of watching it, brother, I'm like, oh, this is crazy. But what you learn is like, for us, like we know Whitney, right? But the documentary show you like Whitney was untouchable when it vocal ability, like untouchable.
And it's like things like that show you why these people or why we having conversations about these artists. Like Beyonce had that documentary that came out. Which showed a vulnerable side of her, which I honestly...
Wait, you talking about Homecoming or you talking about the one before?
No.
Talk about
The
Lemonade?
actual documentary that you're talking about before Beyonce? After Beyonce dropped.
Wait, was it in between Beyonce and Lemonade?
That was it.
Wait, the one that went with Beyonce?
The one that was technically with Beyonce, because she was in the studio talking about how
everything
came about, how the children and all that stuff. Now
that documentary broke down, like,
for sure.
For me, as somebody that was just like, damn, why y'all hyper? And so when I seen that documentary, it was just like, damn, like the work that you put in to be this who you are is like, damn, like I gotta respect that.
But see that's another thing too. So Beyonce would, and granted that's more so these times, but she's taking advantage of very, very strategically and intentionally giving us pieces of the story to make everything make sense.
Of course.
especially over the last
That's perfect marketing.
6 years.
That's amazing marketing.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And of course, be known for that. So when you get,
That's the team.
let's not talk about
Normally,
teams.
That's
Let's not talk about
that
teams.
is a team right there.
Oh, Jesus, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. So, but no, for real. But when you think about that, when you think about even the video that accompanied Lemonade, when you think about Homecoming, when you think about Black is King, like all of these are ways to, one, not only different ways to tell a story and tell the story of your music, but then also it gives us a chance to see sides of an artist that we probably naturally wouldn't see, even with the amped up, you know, ability to have access with social media. So I say all that to say that because we kind of get to see Beyonce in that light, and because we kind of get those stories that we don't necessarily get with Janet, when we talking at the end of the day, that's why I'm like, it's just gonna be a different level. And it's not a disrespect thing, because again, Janet is Janet. But when you talk about at the end of the day, all that we know and all that we can attest to from what we've seen and what came directly from her, it's gonna be really hard to find somebody that matches that level or supersedes it. True. Honestly. True. And that's just reality. That's all no beef fan, just a respect thing aside, like it is what it is.
Back for the day, you looking bad as you wanna. Thought you had a man, I made a fat ass of some, turning necks and pumping brakes.